My son John is 16 years old. He has Down syndrome. He loves school, so the COVID lockdowns were tough for him. He missed his friends. He missed his routine. And like most of us, he hated having to stay at home. But John makes friends easily, and he made a new friend in lockdown, his webcam. John loves Zoom. Completely unself-conscious, he embraced video conferencing from the very beginning. And even now, he regularly organizes Zoom meetings with me or his siblings, even when we're all together at home. The unself-consciousness is the key. John doesn't care how he's perceived. He sees the power of the lens to connect with people, and he wants to use it. He comes alive on camera. He tells people about his party plans. He's always planning a party. Or he asks them for news after he's shared everything that's been going on in our house with no filter. But what do you do? Do you even leave the camera on? Do you switch it off whenever you can? Why do we do that? What are we afraid of? And what effect does it have? In the last 18 months, our cameras have been connecting us in a whole lot of new ways. Some of it was basic enough. We went to school on our webcams. We had team meetings, training courses, job interviews. We even did the dreaded Zoom quizzes, Googling all the way. But our cameras made far more important connections too. You might have always thought you hated the camera. But in the last 18 months, like a good friend, it has opened doors to you that nobody else could open. Your webcam might have brought you happy moments that lifted your heart, good news stories. I got the job. I'm pregnant. Meet your new granddaughter. Your webcam might have helped you to keep a long-distance relationship alive. Or did your webcam bring you moments of profound sadness? The sight of someone you loved dying in hospital. The live stream of a funeral you never thought you'd have to miss. Or the loneliness and pain of friends and family members locked down in faraway places. Do you think it's time we started to see the camera in a different light? I stood in front of cameras for 20 years when I worked as a television journalist. In that time, I worked with several different news crews, but the camera was always there. It was my constant companion, and I came to see it as a friend. In the evenings, when we'd edit our news stories, I could see what the camera saw in my eyes. The lens could tell whether I cared about the story or not. And sometimes I cared too much. Monday the 16th of January 2012. There I was, standing on the pier at Union Hall, West Cork, Ireland. It was windy and wet and cold, I remember. Typical January weather on the southwest coast. But it was not a typical day. A fishing trawler called the Teat Bonhomme had sank at the mouth of the harbour, and there were 5 men missing, 3 Egyptians and 2 Irishmen. 3 of the missing men were fathers, but all 5 had gone to sea, not for pleasure, but to support their families. I was sent to Union Hall that day to do a news report for the Irish TV station TG4. The tension was palpable on the pier. There was shock. There was fear. There was frustration because the boat was so close to home when it sank, and yet only one man had managed to swim ashore. My job that day was to be professional and to tell the facts. But underneath, I was upset. I had young children myself at the time, aged between 2 and 10. My heart ached for the children whose daddies were out there somewhere in the cold waters of the harbour, so near and yet so very far away. At the time, I thought I was doing a great job of being professional and unemotional, but the camera could see the truth. I can see the sadness in my eyes. I offered up a silent prayer that the missing men would be found quickly. They weren't. It took 3 weeks for all the bodies to be recovered. Almost 10 years on, that story stays with me. It's one I won't forget. But with other stories, I'm afraid I didn't care enough. Here's another photograph from my news reporting days. This time, Sunday the 20th of October, 2013. I worked a lot of Sundays for TG4, and very often when you worked on a Sunday, the biggest problem was coming up with a story to tell. If you were on, you had to tell a story, there were bulletins to fill. But that Sunday was one of those quiet days. There was nothing stirring. So I was sitting at my desk in the RTE Cork studios, racking my brain. What could I do? Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed a queue forming outside the church next door, the Church of the Holy Trinity. Now, this was long before COVID-19 made queuing such a regular part of our everyday lives. A queue outside the church, that was definitely unusual. What was going on? So it turned out that the relics of St. Anthony, the Roman Catholic patron saint of lost things, were going on display there that day. And people who had a devotion to St. Anthony were turning up in droves to visit the relics and to leave gifts of lilies. Apparently, St. Anthony was a big fan of lilies. I spoke to the editor. Could this make a story? Okay, he said. But if something bigger breaks during the day, get ready to drop the lilies and run. We did the story, but my heart wasn't in it. The lens could see that. There's a glazed look in my eye. The lights are on, but there's nobody home. I learned a lot about myself from the lenses I worked with over the years. I knew I wanted to go deeper. I knew I wanted to hear more than a soundbite from my interviewees. I wanted to hear and tell stories that really mattered. So to make space in my life for those stories, I left my news reporting career behind, and I became an independent producer and presenter. One of the stories I've told since then was about general medical practice in Ireland. I produced and presented a healthcare documentary that went out on Virgin Media 1 last summer. This brought me back in front of my old friend, the camera lens. When this photo was taken, I was talking about the importance of trust between a patient and their doctor. I was saying that that's the kind of trust that's vital for healing. It's the connection that saves lives, actually. But it got me thinking about my own long-standing relationship with the camera lens and how much I trust it. Standing there in front of the camera, I knew that if I relaxed and spoke from the heart, the lens would look after me. It would help me to reach viewers. It would help me to connect with them. It would help me to convince them. To be a good broadcaster, the lens was my best friend. I've been a broadcaster for a while now, but thanks to COVID-19, so have all of you. But I noticed that when Irish people started using their webcams a lot, the natural friendliness we're so famous for completely disappeared. We became cripplingly self-conscious about everything. Our hair, our COVID stone, which of course looked more like 3 stone on camera. And that last glass of wine last night, that was a mistake. Looking at ourselves on screen was torture. But instead of looking at ourselves on the screen and cringing, what can we do to make friends with the lens and use it to build better connections with our audiences? Well, to show you what I think, I've enlisted the help of 2 other friends of mine, and fingers crossed, if the technology works for us, we should, hopefully, soon be joined here live on Zoom by my friends Liz Moynihan and Susan O'Mahony to show you what I think should be done. And
hi, Grett.
Oh, hi, guys. Thank you so much for being with us today. Can I just confirm that you're seeing 4 boxes on your screen? A box with each of yourselves, a box with my face, and a box with our audience here in Shimsatira. Oh, God.
That's correct, Grett.
Excellent. So can I come to you first, Liz? Liz, can you look at the audience on your screen, tell them you hope they're enjoying the day and that the ideas they're hearing are worth spreading?
Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the day, and I hope the ideas you're hearing about are worth spreading.
Thank you. And this time, Liz, can you look at your webcam and give the audience the same message?
Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying the day, and I hope the ideas you're hearing about are worth spreading.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Liz. Susan, your turn. Susan, can you look at my face on your screen and wish me luck with my presentation?
Hi, Grett. Best of luck with your presentation. I'm sure the audience will love it.
Thank you so much. And this time, Susan, can you look into your webcam and give me the same message?
Hi, Grett. Best of luck with your presentation. I'm sure the audience will love it.
Thank you so much, guys. It's been great to see you.
Bye, Grett. Best of
Hi,
luck.
Grett.
So, which approach do you think works best? Am I saying you should be looking into the camera all the time? No, of course not. But if you're telling a story, if you're making a pitch, if you're presenting, convincing, persuading, I would strongly recommend looking into the camera and trust the lens to make a real connection with your audience for you. Think of your best friend, the one you trust the most, the one who always has your back, and pretend you're speaking to him or her. And then you can make a real connection with your audience. This TEDx event is all about new beginnings, and global communication is at the beginning of a new and really exciting era. Our webcams are here to stay. Isn't it time we got to know them better? And John's best friend can be yours too. The other day at home, we were having a Zoom call, as you do, and I was telling him I was going to give a talk at TEDxTralee. So I asked him what he'd like to say if he were here today.
Mom, good on your head talk, and everybody should tell you anything in lives. Good done, well done.
Thank you for listening.